Hello, this is Board Deck and Dice, and I love to count, which is handy because today we're doing another top 5. This week's top 5 is top 5 6+ player games. I'll try and do a top 5 as top 5, 5, 6, 7, 8 in, if you see what I mean. Yeah. Excuse me, it's really hot today. So top 5 6+ player games, so games that work well with 6+ players. So I haven't counted any games that stop at 6 players. One of a good example of those is Space Team, which would be on this list, but at the moment, without the expansion, it stops at 6 players. So honourable mentions, maybe the most shocking honourable mention is Codenames. It's not in my top 5, simply because it's got a lot of exposure and it wasn't a question of quality, it's just I wanted to give some mentions to some of the other games that I could have done as an honourable mention, I suppose. But I do love Codenames, it's a great game. But it's an honourable mention. Also is 6 Nimmt, if that's how you say it. Honourable mention goes all the way up to 10 players, clever little game, easy to teach, easy to grasp. And then the other honourable mention is The Resistance, which again is a good game, and I really enjoy it. I enjoy the hidden role nature of it. I enjoy being the spy team and winning and lying my way to a win. So let's get into that top 5. Number 5 is a game that I got from Kickstarter. It was my first Kickstarter to arrive, and it's a game called Escape from Sunset Island. It's from Australia. You can still get it via the people's websites who makes it, who I can't quite remember at the minute, but go check it out. Escape from Sunset Island can be accused of just being a dice to roll game, as you're rolling a dice and that gives you your action points. But it goes up to 10 players. One player starts as a zombie, but as the game progresses they might turn other people into the zombies. Everyone else is kind of trying to get off the island with themselves or with other people, but to do that you need a can of fuel for the vehicle you want to escape in, and you need food and water for each survivor. So fragile alliances are formed, and you're always worried when someone gets the fuel can. If you've left enough food and water on the boat or the plane, they're just going to nick off without you. And if you're carrying resources like food, water and fuel, they subtract from your minus points. So you could roll a 6 and only get, from your action points, you could roll a 6 and only get 3 action points. It's a really great game. I've done a review of it, and the thing that's great about it is the stories that you will have afterwards, and they kind of surpass the gameplay, which is good. I still like it. I don't feel it's roll and play in a kind of traditional way, but the stories you have, the stories you will tell afterwards about survival, or one man sacrificing himself so this girl could get off the island, and someone getting bit but then getting cured. Just great stories. That's number 5, Escape from Sunset Island. Number 4 is Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. This is a kind of a cross between Codenames and Mysterium. So rather than giving pictures out, the forensic scientist puts bullet tokens on 6 different lists, and they link to two items, a murder weapon and a clue, that are sitting in front of the players, and then the players have to work out which one's right, and the forensic scientist gets abilities to change them as they go along. The thing that I really like about it is there is a murderer and possibly an accomplice among the people trying to work these out, and they know exactly what the items are. So they're trying to mislead people, and it just, as long as the forensic scientist can remember exactly what the items are, it works really well. That's number 4, Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. My number 3 is a towel laying game that takes 15 minutes to play and goes up to 7 players. It only just makes this count, this list, and that is Between Two Cities. I know some have accused it being too simple, too repetitive, one strategy always working, but I find it's a game that looks quite intimidating to new players because there's all these tiles and this little card that has little shapes on of how you score, but as soon as you explain it to them it clicks, and because they're working with 2 other people, you're not just figuring it out on your own, and you have to create, because your lowest city score is not your highest one, you have to pay equal attention to both cities that you're building. It just works really well. It plays in 15 minutes, and I really like it. And number 2 is Cash and Guns. great game, better with the more players you can get of, you know, you have these foam guns and you decide whether the gun's going to fire this round or not. You've only got 3 bullets to fire with unless you pick up more, and the setup is you're dividing up the loot after a robbery. You're all robbers, you're dividing up that loot, but you can point the gun at people. They don't know if you're shooting them, but if they duck out of the round they won't get a chance to divide up the loot. I'm explaining it really badly. I will do a review of it sometime, but there's other reviews out there. A fantastic 6+ player game, and again works better at the higher accounts. You have friends getting shocked because their friends are pointed at them, and then they stay in and see that it was just a blank, so next time they do the same thing and it was actually a bullet. You know, it's just a great game as long as you can leave all that stuff at the table. And my number 1 game for 6 or more players is Pitch Car. I specifically have the Pitch Car Mini simply because this is my general table space. To play it with my son. I thought the big one would be too big to use on both my tables, so I got the mini one. I'm really glad I did. The only thing the mini one doesn't have that the bigger one has is you can create 2 levels on the bigger one, so that's pretty cool. But I'm really happy with it. My son loves it. It goes up to 8 players, but you could always buy another set and put more in. Fantastic dexterity game. Creates a real sense of competition, and you're free to kind of mess with the rules a little bit and make your own tracks. So that is my top 5 6+ player games. I like to count, and I'm going to go away and count my toes. Thanks for watching Board, Deck and Dice.